Greetings and welcome to a video about our PlayStation 5 showcase. Not our PlayStation 5 showcase, our thoughts on the PlayStation 5 showcase. Apologies, I wasn't planning on doing an intro, but me and Rudy were literally discussing the PS5 showcase, so I thought it was a good idea to actually do the intro of the video. I'm Annika Alexander. I'm wearing a PlayStation t-shirt because I thought it would be a good idea, and then I watched the showcase and lived through the aftermath, and then lived through the aftermath of the aftermath, and then I went to bed. And then I woke up, and now PlayStation 5s are sold out all over the world. And I'm joined by Mr. Daffy Mooney. How are you, good sir?
Hello, everybody. How are we all doing?
You every time we do one of these things for a showcase, you wear the Hot Tuna t-shirt, and I'm loving the consistency.
It has been washed.
I mean, oh yeah, I mean, I know it's been like months since the summer of gaming started. Like, I wasn't insinuating that you never washed. It's like your lucky shirt, like playoff shirt, like just like oh Jesus. I'd say if it was, I'd say if it was your lucky shirt, I'd say it didn't work very well last night. But we'll get into all of that. We're here to talk about the PlayStation 5 showcase that happened September 16th on twitch.tv/PlayStation. Big up to Twitch for putting an ad right in the middle of it. Thanks for that. Thanks for that mid-roll ad, Twitch. You're superstars. You fucking assholes. More on that topic in next week's podcast. But how you doing, Moody? How you feeling? It was the PlayStation 5 thing last night. It was.
I'm good.
There was about 10 seconds of PlayStation 5 information in there, so.
I'm good. I thought it was a good show. It flowed very well. There's some like games where I was just like, oh, okay. Don't know why that needs to be there, but yeah, I overall enjoyed the show. It flowed very well. Some good-looking games out there. Games that we all thought that were going to be a part of PlayStation in some sort of way, if that's exclusive or no exclusive. Yeah.
Only Jeff Keighley knows the answers to these questions.
I chilled. I relaxed, I watched it, and I was thinking, fun little show. I don't think it was the big spectacular that was the event in June, I want to say, or May.
The one that opened with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, it was that one with Grand Theft
Auto. Because it just that one just had that more flow, and we also, there was a lot of games we had no idea what was coming and everything. And there was some games that we already saw that were in that event.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, I can't argue the point that any showcase that has bug snacks in it is going to be superior to any showcase that doesn't have bug snacks in it. So I can't argue the point there. I'd say this one started out pretty strong with Final Fantasy, though.
Like, Fantasy 16?
Final Fantasy 16.
And it's what was the rumor? Exclusive to console on the PlayStation 5.
Maybe for 6 months.
Don't know if this is timed or not. Yeah, I don't know if this is timed or not. I don't think it's been confirmed or not. Well done to Sony. Like I said, Sony want you to give you a reason to come and play on their side. They're giving you reasons here. Final Fantasy 16. That's a huge thing to get. Well done to them. That.
We'll get into we'll get into how many reasons there are to get a PlayStation 5 this. Actually, if I say the day that would be a spoiler because it was happened right at the end of the showcase. But yeah, I loved it. It's Final Fantasy, but it's fantasy. Like again, like full on capital F fantasy, and it's been. It's one of the leads on the game is the guy. I'm just looking his name up now, Naoki Yoshida, who's Yoshi P. He's the guy who saved Final Fantasy 14, and like I've seen the documentary. I know the story of how Final Fantasy 14 was turned from a shit game into a great game.
They closed it and started again.
Yeah, pretty much. They just built a new game, but like I know a few people who play Final Fantasy 14, and like one of the strongest aspects of the game for them is the storytelling and the writing. So I'm really happy that the person largely in charge of that game is making this game. I'm really looking forward to it.
That's a good little pick, especially like say Final Fantasy 14 had a very interesting life It's had a
It
very
did.
interesting life.
It did.
It literally was a part of kind of what Final Fantasy, it's kind of what Final Fantasy 16 was kind of showing off, a Phoenix Rising type of thing, and that was Final Fantasy 14. It
I wonder
died
where
and
he got the
literally
idea for the game from.
rose from the ashes, basically. Yeah, yeah. It was very. At the time, what like does come across very Final Fantasy 14-ish. That's what for me. I literally got that vibe. I was thinking, oh, this is either Final Fantasy 14 or this is Final Fantasy 16. Obviously, they confirmed it was at the end of Final Fantasy 16. Really enjoyed what I saw. Cannot wait. Probably going to be 10 years until we get it, but I can wait.
No, Yoshi P's good at spreadsheets and he's good at keeping people on track. He's good at schedules. Like, he's not Tetsuya Nomura, who takes like 15 years to make a single game. Like, so we should be okay to get this within the next 2 or 3 years. He did mention that it'll be a while before it gets in people's hands, but what I've noticed with a lot of Japanese developers is that a while for them is a shorter period of time than a while for Western developers, like in general. Like, a while for Western developers is, we'll see you in 6 years. We'll see you at the next console generation. Whereas I feel like with
it's like 2-3 years.
Yeah, for this I think it's going to be about 2-3 years. But it was a strong opening for sure. Like, at a time when I wasn't, at a time when I didn't know, when I wasn't really sure what we were getting with this PlayStation showcase, and for like I feel like I didn't adjust my thoughts to being like, this is going to be just a game showcase, because that's all it was in the end. I was like hoping to see something of the console's like user interface, or like learn more about the console, you know, because it's the one time it's permissible to stop talking about games and start talking about hardware when you're trying to sell the hardware. But they didn't stop talking about games, so it was a strong opening for that. But I probably, like, as much as Final Fantasy 16 is now one of my most hyped games, I probably appreciated the Spider-Man Miles Morales demo more for what it showed, just because it wasn't an announcement trailer.
Yeah, that's understandable. Like I said, they showed you basically it's the same type of game of what was from the 2018 game, which was a fantastic game. Showed it still has the same charm, same gameplay mechanics, which you all loved, but added in the new elements that what is Miles Morales' powers, which was very well done. I really liked that. They really showcased it very well, and getting like a 20-hour experience for this game, I think that's excellent. I can't wait for that.
Definitely.
People, I'm just going to say right now, shut up. Stop complaining if this is a spin-off or not. Who cares? It's 20 hours. It's about a 20-hour to 30-hour game. Are you seriously complaining that about a 20-hour to 30-hour game? Stop it. Get over it.
Okay. Point proven. let's not let them derail our podcast. They're not here. True, yeah. It's just you and I, Moody. This is a safe space. It's safe. Do you want a hug? I can't give you a hug because we've got new lockdown restrictions. We can't do that either. We have to elbow bump. You have to bump elbows now.
I'm not getting closer.
No, I can't reach the camera from here.
Really weird for a lot of people.
No, probably. Imagine if you just like weren't paying attention and you just looked at the screen at that particular moment.
Yeah, you just go.
What's happening? They're trying to do what? Exercise.
What are they trying to do?
Now my camera's gone all wrong. Yeah, I mean you do that all the time. I loved Harlem. I loved like the bit before the actual demo where it's Miles and the other kid walking through Harlem, and it's like it's a pop-up street festival. Like I love shit like that. Like because New York is a very diverse place in terms of its neighborhoods. All of its neighborhoods have their own personalities. And I love like when a game in this case, or a movie or anything really, but in this case when a game like showcases like it's a different atmosphere. It's the same game essentially, like the mechanics are going to be the same and it's going to play the same and it's probably going to feel the same, but the place is different, even though it's the same city, and I'm sure a lot of the same assets. It was great, and I love Miles Morales, so that's cool too.
Who doesn't love Miles Morales?
Oh, I'm sure there are people out there, Moody.
my co-host from my podcast who put Spider-Verse low on his list. Boo him, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
told you.
Boo Henry Stevens.
I told you. Anyone who doesn't rank Into the Spider-Verse as the best Spider-Man film of all time and is on a movie podcast needs to be fired from the movie podcast. I don't have many strong opinions about movies, but that's one of them. And next up, and I confused the shit out of Keith with a tweet on this one because Hogwarts Legacy was next, the Harry Potter game that we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for, and literally like as soon as the developer name comes up, it's Portkey Games. I knew exactly what this was, and I did just put out a tweet that was just, oh no, like no context, no nothing. Anyone not watching the PS5 showcase won't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And Keith was like,
Yeah.
what? Because it was, I knew what was about to happen, and Hogwarts was about to be revealed. And you know what? Looks like a pretty cool game, man. Like for a reveal of a third person action RPG, whatever, set in the 1800s. Like years and years ago, I remember saying on a podcast that like, how come no one's made a Hogwarts RPG?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
probably
doing
like, in the first few episodes. Like I was like, it's just it's an idea that's crying out to be made, and now they're making it, and it's like it's the last thing I want to play. Because J.K. Rowling is a gigantic bigot, as it turns out, and she's a terrible person, and she's out to make my life hell. But the reason I was like, oh no,
doesn't make your life hell, but I understand where you're coming from.
I mean, like the life of myself and people like me, hell. She just put a freaking release a new book. Like the main antagonist is a man in a dress who murders women. Like you tell me if there's any hidden. So I say hidden. You tell me if there's any subtext that's not really hidden in that. But I digress. The reason I was like, oh no, is because knew I was gonna have to hear about this for the next week. And lo and behold, a lot of people are talking about Hogwarts Legacy. And you know, it on Twitter, there's a lot of people saying, "Yo, this lady is a bad lady," and that's cool, and I appreciate that. But Moody, I'm playing Avengers. Yes, we are still talking about the PlayStation 5 podcast, in case you tuned out for a moment. I'm sitting playing Avengers, and I've got my podcasts on, and it gets to, I think there was like 3 podcasts I ended up having to skip because it's just people talking about the PS5 showcase, because you know. Like, everybody does a podcast after a big reveal like this. I'm being self-aware, because obviously that's what we're doing. And then they get to the Harry Potter parts, and it's just like... It's the same thing that annoys me about the Ubisoft stuff, but personal. Like, to me, this time, where it's just like, hyping the game up and talking about how great the game looks, and how excited they are about the game, and not a word about anything else. And these are like podcasters I listen to a lot and I respect a lot, and I'm just like, guys, can we not just have like 10? It takes 10 seconds just to acknowledge this thing, and it would be nice if you did, because some of these podcasters have even in the past made a big song and dance about wanting to be better allies to not just trans people but all marginalized people, and then the opportunity comes along, but it's not easy and convenient, so they don't do it. But the one that pissed me off the most, I was listening to a podcast, and someone went, and someone said, and I'll paraphrase it because I don't have the exact quote because it's a podcast quote. Someone said, "Oh yeah, like the game looks really good, and I know there's a lot of other stuff going on, and it's a shame for the game." And I just sat there, and I literally, I stopped playing Avengers Money. I just went, "Yeah," and I'm talking to a podcast. Obviously, I can't talk back. I'm like, yeah, it's a real shame for the game. Like, yeah, it's a shame that this game has to go through all of this terrible stuff. I feel really bad for it. And then I just shut the podcast off and unsubscribed. And that's those are my thoughts on Hogwarts Legacy. Like, if you're gonna be an ally, be an ally. I don't give a shit if you're excited for a Harry Potter game. I don't give a shit if you want to play a Harry Potter game. I don't give a shit if you want to talk about a Harry Potter game. But at least care about all of the other stuff. because like it's becoming really apparent that a lot of people will just care when it's really convenient for them to care, and then not care when it's not convenient for them.
That's just how it is for everything, isn't it? Though it's the same goes for like a lot of marginals out there for a lot of people, people of color and etc. and etc. and etc. It's just how it is. Sadly, it really is. Some people are just sadly uneducated, or just want to stick their head in the sand and just say, "Oh no, my favorite world that I loved growing up with and everything like that," and blah 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 type of thing. And yeah, that's just how it is. Sadly, like I already said, like when the whole thing was all happening and everything, what made you very upset, which was understandable and everything. Like we've had a good talk about it.
Yeah, oh, obviously we have. Yeah, like we don't broadcast all of our lives and our conversations, but yes, we have had a lot of good talks about this.
Yeah. And like I said before, and I'll restate again, like we'll only talk about this if you were talking about it, and if you wanted to talk about it. Like, and I'll quickly just say, well, I saw the game, looks really, really good. Sadly, what is happening with the creator of this franchise and this universe probably will not harm this game whatsoever.
Oh God, no!
Because people want to stick their heads in the sand and everything, or even in everything. So. And that's their decision. It's not the right decision, I would say. It's not fair on like for you and all other people and everything. But I'm glad it's out there for the people who have developed this game, because they've worked their asses off on this, and they've been obviously didn't want to have all the craziness that was going on with her. That's going on with her still to this day, and everything. And they don't want they've even come out. They've even talked about it that. They've separated. She has no influence on this game, which we've all both said. I highly doubt that.
I mean, even if she doesn't have any, she probably doesn't know what a video game is, but
there's that as well.
She's still going to make money off of it.
Yeah, so like, I'm happy for the developers who have worked their asses on this. It does look fun, hopefully, but I also feel for like for you and everything like that. It's not. It's an uncomfortable situation, and being uncomfortable is not mean you're bad or anything like that. People,
Like, it is possible to both be excited for the game, but also to acknowledge the harm that the game's creator is causing. It's not even a past tense thing. It's like the creator of this universe is causing a lot of harm to a lot of people who don't deserve it. And I've seen a lot of people casually ignore that in the past 24 hours. So. Like those are like a lot. There's a lot of people who have just gone down in my estimation in the past 24 hours,
which is a shame.
And a lot of surprising people as well. Like there's, I'm not going to name names on a podcast, but
that's fair. But they don't deserve the name.
No, they don't deserve a second thought from me. Yeah. Then Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War happened. I don't remember it happening. I'm gonna be honest.
It was a Fast and Furious game. It looked like.
Oh yeah,
the exact same thing.
I wrote a thing down. I wish I had my phone. I wrote a joke down to say on the podcast where I was like, where I was gonna say it was really bold of Treyarch to adapt Fast and Furious 6 as the next Call of Duty game. I wrote it down as a joke. Damn it! I missed an opportunity.
But I brought it back.
But you brought it back. That's why we're a good team.
It's Call of Duty.
It's Call of Duty.
Comes out a day after release. It's going to sell like bonkers, like we all know it is.
100%.
Great for them. I hope it plays as good as how it did there. But we all know little demos can be literally sorted out and made to be not broken things compared to the full game.
I mean,
I hope Treyarch are not crunching like crazy on this, which probably they truly are, to get this game out in November.
They are.
Coming out in November if they like it or not.
So it's got to come out in November.
That's going to be a different. That's going to be a different conversation.
Well, I want to talk about the potential state of a few games at the end of this, because we're going to go through the games and what happened in the showcase, but we have a lot to cover that happened after the showcase as well. So if you were here looking for our opinions about those, there'll be timestamps below. But yeah, we'll be talking about post showcase, post us talking about the showcase.
Yeah.
Ironically enough. We got another Resident Evil 8 trailer. Which again, to me, it was cool. It's more Resident Evil, and apart from like the teaser at the end of the shopkeeper guy from Resident Evil 4, there wasn't really anything in here that stood out to me as like, whoa, shit, that's awesome. It's just cool. Resident Evil 8 still exists.
It's not hyping me. It really isn't, and I don't know why, because I'm not one of those haters out there saying Ethan was this, this, and this. For me, Ethan was me. So that's how they made it for me. So even though he does have his little story, but I digress. I just don't know what it is about this is just not clicking for me. And I think it is literally because it feels it's coming across incredibly Resident Evil 4-ish. And especially with that little reveal at the end, it's like... more than ever. Then it's fucking Resident Evil 4, just called Resident Evil 8.
It might actually be. This might actually just be the remake of Resident Evil 4. Because it's like village, castle, shopkeeper. No, I feel it. It's like...
Instead of Texas Chainsaw Guy, they've got werewolves instead.
Yeah, we've got werewolves, and I think we got vampires as well, which is interesting. Can I ask, do you remember the first trailer? Because that was at the last PlayStation 5 showcase. Didn't it say it was coming out in January? Or did it just say 2020?
I'm not fully sure.
Because I clocked the day at the end of this as being just 2021. My mistake. As just being 2021, and I can't remember if it said it was coming in January at the end of the last trailer. And I'll be honest, I've had a very lazy day watching Netflix today, so I didn't bother looking it up.
It's a good day in my book.
It was a good day. I'm nearly finished The Last Dance, and I really enjoy it. But
good show.
It's fucking amazing. But yeah, it's just like the Resident Evil 8. It's not hyping me, but like it'll be like
Resident Evil will get us in there. Still.
It'll be like Final Fantasy 16, where I'm going to see so many trailers for this game over the course of the next couple of years, and none of them will particularly make me massively excited for the game. But when the game comes, I'll be like, "Fuck yeah, Final Fantasy 16, let's go!" Because I'm a big fan of the franchise. And yeah, I think I've still got a little bit of the Resident Evil 3 remake hangover as well that I had when we saw the RE8 trailer for the first time, where it's like, yeah, this thing still disappointed me. It's my own fault because I made a video about it like 2 weeks ago. So it's like it's taking me longer to get over the remake because I made a 25-minute video about it and the original Resident Evil 3.
Let's be honest, it was a good ass video.
Thank you. Next up, we had Oddworld Soulstorm, which, like, it looks really good, and like from a technical standpoint, a graphical standpoint, it looks really good. Like the Oddworld games have never been for me personally, so I kind of looked at this and just went, yeah, okay. But like, I did appreciate the technology and the graphics that it was obviously taken advantage of.
It has humor that I like, but at the same time, it just never grabbed me the first game. So I'm like, type of thing. But could be fun still. It could be an enjoyable experience by the end of it. I'm trying to find out if that the original Resident Evil 8 had a release date.
I don't think it had a date. I seem to remember it having a more concrete window. And I might be misremembering. It might be like, it might have been something completely different. I might be thinking of a different game. Something's coming out in January. They said something was coming out in January. I know that much. 11th of June. Here we go. Resident Evil 8 trailer. 11th of June. That must be it, right? It was in June, wasn't it?
I'm watching it now. I'm watching the reveal.
Here we go. I got it. Coming. Oh, it just says coming 2021.
Is it?
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm looking at actually the proper reveal event. So, because they could have just easily edited that trailer, that part out.
I mean, they could have if it's been known to happen. Demon Souls,
Has been
Demon Souls.
Let's have a look.
But I just want to have a quick look. Something's coming out in January. Hitman. That's what I'm thinking of.
Is it?
Hitman's coming out January. That because they were at the same conference. That's probably what I'm thinking of. I probably just crossed my wires.
Probably. But I will confirm it in literally 2 seconds because
3, 2.
The end of the trailer's happening on the reveal event.
Chris, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Chris? Why?
Bam! Mia sucks anyway. Ethan, get over it.
Why do you?
We have to kill. We have to kill Mia. We have to kill Mia because she could have died. She could have died in Resident Evil 7 if you made different choices.
All it says is come in 2021 in the reveal event. So,
same thing I saw.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
With that we've just like the last 3 out of the 4 games have all been January, so I can see why we're probably thinking that. Apart from Nemesis, what was obviously not Nemesis, Resident Evil 3, but I know
Resident Evil 3. I was
not April, didn't it?
I mean, that was like 16 months after the last remake, so
So we've literally just derailed this conversation.
Yeah, so the timestamps will be Resident Evil 8, Oddworld, Resident Evil 8 again. And then I'm thinking about calling this next part not Silent Hill, because for about 10 seconds, this looked like it could have been Silent Hill.
Which I still think is probably happening. But I think they're waiting until next year now.
It's still happening. I've got no doubt about that. This is Silent Hill is entering Fable territory at this point, where it's becoming one of the worst kept secrets in video games, and we're just waiting for it. It reminds me a lot of Days Gone, where we were waiting and waiting and waiting for Sony Bend to like just show off their open world horror game, and it took about 4 years before they finally did. That's what it's starting to feel like.
An extra 2 for the release, though.
Yes. And then it got delayed. But Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was the thing it actually was. When it pulled back and I was like, could this be Silent Hill? Like, it was probably like the first time in the entire showcase where I was leaning forward, looking at the screen. And then it pulled back and I saw the Freddy Fazbear singing thing, and I was like, fuck's sake, it's another Five Nights at Freddy's game.
I was the same as you. We're not on the part of like scream, but I was literally thinking, Silent Hill? Is it? No.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
I was like, oh, I feel bad.
I'll be honest though, the bit where it jump scared us with the animatronic thing actually got me.
Yeah. Because you were like this.
Because I was leaning forward. I was like, oh no. And then it went, and I went, yeah. Deathloop was next, and you know me. You know me and my thoughts and feelings on Deathloop. I think this game looks amazing. Like, I love the style, the presentation, and the gameplay. And the concept. And I liked what they showed us with the gameplay, where it wasn't just like, here's the game being played. It was, hey, so like you need to kill these 8 people, and it's going to take too long, like for you to run around the whole island and do it in one loop. But if you do some stuff, maybe you can get 2 of them in the same place, and then you can kill them both at the same time. I was like, hell yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe I'm just really easily pleased.
You know what you like, though.
I do know what I like. I do know what I like.
You know what you like.
I actually said that to someone. Someone asked me why I don't do as many negative game reviews anymore, and it's because I just generally tend to avoid games what I don't think I'm gonna like.
Which is fair. Which is definitely inside, because you just don't want to be downed. You don't want to be disappointed.
Like I used to make videos and
I recommend this. Yeah.
Throw the fire and throw the brimstone and find the shitty games and actively seek them out. And now I'm just like, who's got the time, man?
How depressing can that be?
Like it's
actively trying to find the crappy games.
It was fun for a while because I made fun. Well, they were blog posts at the time. I made like fun blog posts about like being like being like trying to be creatively worded like this game is bad. But then it's just like, I'm sick of being negative. And I still negative when I have to be, but
Oh yes, I know that, and I'm expecting it to come up shortly. So, foreshadowing, maybe.
I've turned my negativity away from the video games towards the companies.
Yeah. You've done that hardcore style. There's no doubt about that. But no, yeah. Yes, yeah. I've made my peace with this game. This game doesn't look interesting to me. It's not a game that screams for me, or anything like that. But like we've just like shown that it's like it may not work for me, but it's gonna probably work for you, Amy. Which
Big
is
style.
I celebrate even more. I don't celebrate that it's not going to work for me. I celebrate that, well, it doesn't work for me, but someone out there is going to probably really enjoy this game and probably even say it's their game of the year in 2021, which I celebrate even more.
Seen
I didn't say it would be
2021?
you. I just said somebody.
Have you seen 2021? It's going to be competitive. 2020 is going to be pretty competitive.
Quite enough, yeah.
But no, oh yeah, nothing's happening next yet. Demon Souls was next.
At all.
Like I am words about games only Soulsborne fan. Like I think I can say that. Of like the 5-6 people who are on semi regularly, I'm the only person who's a fan of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Sekiro. Well, not Sekiro, and like Neo games and stuff like that. And I just watched this demo and I was just like, I am so happy. I'm in your shoes. I am so happy for people who want a fully remade Demon Souls. But for me, it's just like, it's doing nothing for me. Like, personally.
That's disappointing. That sucks. I thought this would be right up your alley. When I was watching, I was thinking, oh, they're killing those things really easy.
I thought that too. I was wondering that. I thought that as well. I was like, they're killing everything in one hit.
Yeah. You just bitch slap them.
It's the first boss from the game.
No,
so that's the first boss in the game, and it's designed to be the one that kills you, and then you continue on with the game. They come back later. That's the thing. I know a lot about Demon Souls, and the genre, or not even the genre, but the series has evolved a lot across Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and it's like, it's the evolutions and the changes that have drawn me in, like especially in Bloodborne. Like Bloodborne was the one that really spoke to me. So it's like, to go back to it would be interesting, but knowing what I know about Demon Souls, I don't think I'd have as good a time with Demon Souls as I would with, say, Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne. So I watched it and I was like, it looks cool. I mean, it looks amazing. Like, graphically, it looks incredible.
That's a good point. Looks beautiful. Looks really good. And
it's a launch title we'll talk about later. A lot of people are gonna be really happy with it, and that's cool. I'm glad for them. There was a Devil May Cry 5 special edition, which I was just like, why is this in the showcase?
Yeah, I was very surprised with this. It was weird. I was saying, why are you here? Not that no one wants you here, but no one wants you here.
Yeah.
No offense, unless you're Devil May Cry 6.
I was thinking it was Devil May Cry 6.
Like, wait, what?
I was like, whoa, that was fast, but then it's not Devil May Cry 6. And I was like, okay, this is just weird now.
Yeah. Getting weird territory now. And this is the part where it like just went, okay. Don't know why, but okay.
Okay. And then the next one was Fortnite.
We have no choice to.
Yeah. The next one was Fortnite, and it was just like...
Which is not surprising that it was in there. It makes sense, yeah.
It was the black screen.
We knew it was going to be in one of them.
It was the black screen, right? And you know when you hear the thing go... Meow, and it was like, that sound is so hard-coded into my brain. From a pop culture standpoint, because I've only played Fortnite for like an hour or two. But I knew instantly what it was. Just based on one sound. I was like, oh, it's Fortnite. Yeah. And then it came up and it was Fortnite, and I was like, how the fuck did I even know that? I've barely played Fortnite. How do I recognize it? How is the sound of a bus in Fortnite become so iconic in pop culture that I instantly recognize it and where it's from? God. But yeah, it was fine. It's Fortnite, you know. We knew it was coming. It's one of the biggest games on the planet.
And it was going to be in one of the showcases, either Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah.
And obviously PlayStation have the market share right now, and
yeah,
they have a very good relationship with Epic.
They do, yes. And unlike some companies. Yeah, it's the biggest, one of the biggest games on the planet. It doesn't strike me as a Microsoft game. Like, if that makes sense. Yeah, if I was thinking of Fortnite, I wouldn't necessarily think of Xbox. I think of certain content creators. I know, to be honest, more than I would even
One
think
of
of
them
a
have
platform.
spiky blue hair.
Maybe.
His name starts.
I've never watched
with an N.
Ninjas. I've never watched
It
Ninja
ends with
before.
an A. I read
The PlayStation Plus collection was next, where you get a bunch of PS4 games if you subscribe to PS Plus on a PS5. And this is just, people keep saying it's their answer to Game Pass. It's not their answer to Game Pass. What it is it's probably just recognizing that a lot of people are gonna own these games and maybe want to play them, but own them on disc, and maybe are buying a digital console and need a way to play them.
Yeah.
It also gives you access to a lot of amazing games in the PS4 back catalogue, because like the sizzle reel was like, holy shit, though. Like, these are some of the best games of the generation.
Some amazing games, yeah. Like, the games they were showing with top-tier games.
Yeah, like, they didn't hold back.
Yeah.
Like, Uncharted 4, Last Guardian, Infamous Second Son, Arkham Knight, Mortal Kombat, Last of Us Remastered. I clicked on a link in the article I'm using for this, and it took me to an article about this, but it doesn't have a list of the games, so I'm trying to remember them now. Like Persona 5,
Fallout 4, Resident Evil 7,
Resident Evil 7,
Xbox, not the Xbox, the PlayStation X4 exclusive library, basically, apart from to what I saw, Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm guessing is either getting added later or they're getting their own remasters.
I think they'll add them later, because I don't think they'll remaster them. But I could, you know what? I could see them adding them, like. Because it's probably too soon, right? It's probably too soon. But, like, give it a year, and maybe they'll add those games to it. Because I feel like the PS Plus collection is never going to evolve beyond just being a collection of awesome PS4 games. Like, I don't think they'll start adding PS5 games to it. Like, you're not going to see Miles Morales in there, I don't think. For example. Or Ratchet, or...
Well, the old Ratchet.
Sackboy. Yeah, the old one, the 2016 one.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's like their PlayStation hits on, their PS4 hits, but in PS Plus. Then we
quickly answering the question of what Mark Cerny was saying, the select titles, and this is what it is.
These are the select titles. Yeah.
Well, I bet some of them. I think there's probably going to be more coming. Probably, I'll be surprised if there isn't. But yeah, it's obviously most of their exclusives, if not all of them, apart from obviously the ones we've just named off, and some obviously they're truly big AAA games, which is obviously probably not Call of Duty added in, because Call of Duty just keeps on selling either way, and along with FIFA and that.
Call of Duty. Well, EA will never add their games to a service like this because they have their own service. EA Play, but. Then we got the weirdly felt like it was tacked on release date / price announcement. Because at this point, because the showcase was 40 minutes, right? That's what they said. And at this point, it had been like more than 40 minutes. And I was like,
no.
And you remember I joked on the last podcast saying, I bet they don't reveal the price wouldn't it be funny if they don't reveal the price and the release date? And I was like, are they actually going to not reveal the price and the release date? Because Moody's being robbed, I'm guessing. I was like...
Like, just going...
Like, yeah, I actually heard it. But, yeah, it was like, are we actually going to get through this and they're not going to reveal the price or the release date? Because we were over time.
I told you I was 100% guaranteed they were going to do it. So
yeah, no, like I was 99%. I said, wouldn't it be funny if they didn't? But then it's like, is it the self-fulfilling prophecy? Because we're over time. Like, this thing's already gone on longer than they said it would. And we haven't seen anything about the console. But yeah, it's going to be $499 / £449 for the PlayStation 5. And the digital edition is
$399.
I've only got the UK prices, and £359.99. The release date is the 12th of November in the US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea, and the 19th of November everywhere else. Because apparently it's 2005 all over again.
They did this for the PlayStation 4. They had 2 release dates for the PlayStation 4, so it didn't bother me. Like, I've seen people going, man, this is silly. It's like, why? They've done it for the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4. Why change it?
I mean, yes, they've done it before, but yeah, it is also kind of stupid. I
don't consider it stupid, personally. I'm just thinking, let's let them do what they want. If it works for them.
No, God, no. I don't want to, I don't want that. Let them do what they want is a statement I don't want added to any corporation. God, no. No, don't let them do what they want. The only reason this console is so cheap is because Xbox Series X is so cheap. Relatively speaking, when I say the word cheap, I just mean they're
I think the prices were always going to be this person.
Yeah. No, you're right. Again, you're right. But this isn't cheap. And I think PlayStation would have liked to have been 50 up if it could have been. But like I said 3-4 days ago when we did the podcast, they can't go higher than the Xbox. I believed that in my soul. And I was right.
They were never going to go near the six.
They were never going to go for 600 because, like I said, we've been there. Like, those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it, and PlayStation clearly learned from the past. There was
a lot of people saying they were gonna. They expected them to go 5-4-4-9. I was thinking they aren't gonna go anywhere near it.
Too close.
Nowhere near it. They went. Yeah.
Because 5 is the same number that it started with for the PS3. So they're like, nope, not doing that.
Not at all. Nope.
Nope, not doing that. 4. It starts with a 4.
This conference, this little showcase, they showed a bit of both of what we which we see from Sony of late. That they're confident, but they're also a bit arrogant to the part because they still showed a bit of arrogance.
I want to get into that.
I want to
get into that after bit about because there was a question we asked in the podcast last week that I feel confident in answering now. But first, there was a one last thing moment, which was. They called it a quick look at the next God of War game, and I mean that I didn't see the game, so I don't necessarily think it's necessarily a quick look so much as it was, hey, this game exists and it's coming in 2021. It's called Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok. I heard Christopher Judge.
We all thought it was going to be Ragnarok because obviously
the ending. What they
were hinting at the end of the last game.
No
spoilers. Not surprised. It was a great little send-off for it, especially you got that big-ass, awesome orchestra music, which we all loved from the last game, and it's just like, and you got Christopher Judge. The only thing that we missed was boy,
but he put it up on on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. He had a blue microphone, and it was a video, and it was just him like first person with like the microphone, and he's just pushing buttons on it and turning the knobs and stuff, and then he just goes, "Boy," and then it ends, and I was like. Perfect. Christopher Judge, is the master of one-word catchphrases.
He is awesome, really, boy.
Boy. He's got boy, and he's got indeed. Yeah. He's 2 for 2. Indeed. That was it.
Was that deep with the indeed? It's just indeed.
Yeah. My favorite one was the Teal'c PI. Right. Indeed. But I could do an entire hour-long podcast about Stargate. Because I love Stargate. And then it was over. And you think, that's it. It's over. It's over, that's it. That's all we need to talk about. That's all she wrote, Sally. But it wasn't over, Moody. It had only just begun. My first note of concern was that they didn't mention pre-orders in the showcase. Like when they were talking price and release date, and I was thinking, and they'll tell us when the pre-orders start. And they didn't. And I was like, that's a bit weird. They'll tell us afterwards. There'll be a tweet or a blog post. There was a blog post after the last one. Excuse me. And there was eventually a blog post, but first, like, I was just get in the high level and just say the aftermath of this showcase was a clusterfuck of like poor communication. And again, like none of it's gonna harm Sony or PlayStation 5 in any way. Like I'm just gonna preface everything that we're about to talk about right now and say that PS5 is still gonna sell like crazy, but it was bad. Like the communication from Sony is bad in a way that we're kind of used to. Like I feel like it's been bad. They've been really terrible at communicating things properly for like the entire year. Like I feel like we've talked about it on and off. Whenever they've tried to say something, they've usually had to say it 3 times before like they say it the way they wanted to say it the first time. The Demon Souls trailer suddenly disappeared from their YouTube channel because it said it was also coming to PC and it's not coming to PC. And we found out that Miles Morales and Horizon Forbidden West and Sackboy Adventures were all also coming to PS4, despite having never been mentioned before that they were coming to PS4. And the opposite, because people started unearthing the Jim Ryan interviews about the fact that they were never going to make cross-generation games because Xbox is stupid. They didn't actually say that. That was just the insinuation of the timing of when Jim Ryan had said it. Jeff Keighley dropped a lot of information, which was more accurate than the information that the PlayStation Twitter account was dropping, which I found particularly interesting. And basically no one knew what the hell was going on last night. After the showcase was over, and a lot of information was coming from a lot of different directions, and some of it was contradictory. And it was kind of fun to be a part of, in a this is annoying sort of way. And I say annoying. I use that word specifically because I was never raging about anything, but it was pretty annoying to like have to dig around and dig out information when you just had a showcase. You could have told me this information in a really clear and succinct way, but you chose not to. And now no one knows what's happening. And then the pre-orders started opening up at random, seemingly. Certain retailers suddenly were like, hey, pre-order here. And then other retailers didn't know what was happening. And there's a fascinating article, I guarantee, in the next week or two about what the hell happened. Because the pre-orders just happened. There was no pre-announcement. There was no... PlayStation said, hey, the pre-orders will go live at selected retailers tomorrow. And they didn't say which retailers or when or in which countries. And then, contrary to them saying it was going to happen tomorrow, a lot of them started about 20 seconds after that tweet went out. That was about 10 minutes. I think one of the US retailers started doing it. It was a mess, but it was fascinating. You may speak now. Sorry, I know that was a lot of run-on sentences, and I know you're waiting for me to stop talking. So
no, I just sit back and listen. That's all, and you're just speaking a lot of truth. I don't deny that. It's weird that they just didn't like put like a thing right at the end saying pre-orders this time.
Like they could have just said pre-orders 9 a.m. tomorrow local time, and everyone would have known, and it would have taken them 5 seconds.
I agree. I completely agree with that. Like I said, like we've already said that like this showcase was two sides of Sony. Was the side of confident Sony, knowing that they've got a great product with great games that are going to sell and are going to got great IP that a lot of people want to play, and they showed that very well, very confident with a great price. But then they showed the arrogant Sony of wait, why aren't we? Where's all this confusion coming from right at the end and everything? Oh, this and all this and everything like that. I mean, it is a bit shitty. It's a bit shoddy from them, but it's just one of those things that it is annoying why they couldn't come like this. And one thing that I've noticed, and I'm going to throw shade at Jim Ryan here, it just seems like the whole shit is a bit that it's just tottering along unbalanced. That's not balanced properly in the sea, and it should just be like it's hitting rough waters all the time, and it's just not a steady. It's not a steady course with him under the management as being the head of PlayStation and everything, and it's just like,
yeah,
what's going on? What's going on? Because everything was at the. Let's just go back. PlayStation 4 come out. I can't remember the guy who Jack Tennant. Jack Tennant, yeah, he was the head. Yeah, Jack Tennant was the head.
Jack Tretton, Kazurai, like yeah.
He smoothed out the PlayStation 3 by the end of it, going into the PlayStation 4 with Mark Cerny and Andrew House, going into the PlayStation 4, got it all set up, got it all perfect, nailing everything what they needed to do. For the most part, I wouldn't say everything, it's not all perfect, but for the most part, they nailed everything they wanted to do when it came to the PlayStation 4. Told you everything, and aimed it at what people wanted to see. And they did a great job for that. Mark Trent goes, and they moved and they bring in Sean Layden. Sean Layden, bless that guy to the cotton day. When you first see him on the first thing, he looks petrified. And I'm just like, no one knows you. Everyone knows Jack Trenton steadied this ship, got it all floating, and you are an unknown. But within, I would say, 2 years, maybe even less, he got himself endeared by the fans, especially the PlayStation fans.
It was that fucking Crash Bandicoot t-shirt.
I think it was that. I'll say that. Honestly, I think you're right there. I honestly believe you're right. He's spot on. It's probably that. And he's coming across as just a really good guy, coming across yes, we know he's a corporate guy, but he's not coming across as a corporate guy. That's what we want to say.
I said this years and years ago about Sean Layden specifically, but also about Nintendo as well, where it was like, they talk to you now like they're one of us. Not necessarily like they're not standing there and saying all of the corporate buzzwords that we were used to. And the reason why I think people talk to Sean and also the Nintendo hosts as well, were that they talk to us like people instead of like consumers.
Yeah. And then obviously the whole thing with Sean Layden just leaving. Was he fired? No one knows. Well, people know, but obviously we do not know. Us, the customers, do not know what's happened, and at the same time, it's none of our business what's happened or anything like that. But then you've brought in Jim Ryan, who, when we first saw him, I believe, when I first saw him was the PlayStation 4 Gamescom event where they finally revealed the date, and even he came across very corporate, unlike Shu or Jack Trenton and etc. and Andrew House and everything, and then obviously Sean Layden, and he is now in charge, and it just comes across incredibly corporate, and he's trying. I'll give him some credit. He's trying to come across in the two little snippets you've seen from both events, this one and the one where the PlayStation 5 was properly revealed. He's trying, but he just doesn't have that magic. And I'll say this right now, Jim Ryan, having the shirt unbuttoned doesn't mean you're non-corporate.
I know, right?
It doesn't work.
That just means it's casual Friday at the Sony offices.
It's casual Friday for you guys with a couple of martinis in the background or something. But no, yeah, it doesn't come across well for us. But like I said, the ship just doesn't seem like it's getting communicated very well. And like I said, it all depends on who he got it. It's right now. It's landed on his shoulders. And it's just not coming across very well. And that's very disappointing when you've got all these things right now. Yes, fair play. PlayStation 5 has the pre-orders have all sold out, to what I know.
Yeah.
Congratulations. It's annoying for people who have missed out on one, like yourself have. I've missed out on one. I get over it. It's all right for me. I'm
not that bothered, and I'll talk about why in about 3 minutes' time.
That's fine. But no, I can understand that why, with all the communication saying, oh, this is when it's going to release. And then the store starts saying, no, we're open now, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait, what the hell's going on?
But even
you should have got...
Even the information that they put out was just completely non-specific. It was just sometime tomorrow at selected retailers.
Yeah, and that doesn't help you. It doesn't help the customer who you're trying to get them to get you to sell out on your pre-orders. And the only thing that saved them is because deep down they knew they were going to sell out on pre-orders.
Yeah, they're going to sell it anyway. It's like the management could be bad. Like, I'll use a sports metaphor because, like I said, I've been watching The Last Dance. It's like It's like the management can be bad, but if you've got Michael Jordan, you're gonna do well. You know what I mean?
Along with a
Like
great coach.
along with a great coach. Oh no, like the whole unit and the whole dynasty was good, but it's like even in the early days when they didn't have the coach and half of the dynasty, it's like they still did well. It's like Sony have the PS5. The PS5 is always going to do well. Like we've said it for months. We said it for years, more than likely. The PS5 is always going to sell really well, irregardless of what Sony do, unless they set the price at $600 or something absolutely ridiculous.
And no offense, even if $599, it was still going to sell.
It's still going to sell. I don't think it would have sold as quickly, as rapidly as this has.
I disagree. Because of the market share,
no,
I think they would have still.
It's just purely on a fiscal point. I don't think that many people have that much money to spend on a video game console. It would have sold out its pre-orders. I don't think it would have sold out its pre-orders within like 5 minutes of them going live on Amazon and on Game and on Best Buy and etc. 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 Is what I mean. But
I would still say it would have sold out within 24 hours.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sorry, like if you've got that, no, it's fine. If you've got that thing, you don't need necessarily the best management. You just need to not fuck up. And like you brought up the old guard, quote unquote, like Sean and stuff like that. And it's like there was a moment yesterday when everything was going to hell and no one knew what was happening, and even PlayStation themselves didn't seem to know what was happening. And Xbox just put out a tweet which was just, hey, our pre-orders are going live on Wednesday, September the whatever it is. I don't remember the date.
22nd, I believe.
The 22nd. September the 22nd. This is how much it costs, and these are all of the retailers that it comes from. And that, to me, was very reminiscent of 7 years ago. Adam Boyes and Shuhei Yoshida at E3. Here's the video. Here's how to share a game with your friend. And he just passes him the disc. And it's like, Xbox... But Xbox didn't go... Xbox went first again.
yeah. I know.
And they still managed to dunk.
Yeah. Like, either way, when a company, either one, does a silly little thing, but the other one's going to be there ready. We're ready to...
Yeah, we've got you now.
Yeah, we know that. I was expecting Xbox to do this type of thing, and it's funny and it's well played and everything like that.
But it also does answer the question of which PlayStation are we dealing with here? Like, I still don't
really know.
You asked it 4 days ago on the podcast, and I said we'll find out on Thursday. And honestly, yeah, I think we're dealing with the arrogant PlayStation. I just think they're a lot cannier than they were. Like when they were arrogant the last time, they were too arrogant. They flew too close to the sun with the PlayStation 3. And like this time, I think we've got the arrogant PlayStation, but I don't think we're ever going to see them make such a colossal mistake. Like this time around, like they've made a lot of misleading comments in the past few months, whether intentional or not. Like they've said things that have turned out to not be true, and that speaks to arrogance, I think, because they can do whatever they want because they are the market leader, and they will still be the market leader in November, December, January, and onwards. I do truly believe that as excellent a proposition as Xbox is, and as excellently priced as the One S and the Series S is, like they're still going to be in second place to PlayStation. But yeah, it does feel like PlayStation third place. Yeah. but PlayStation, Nintendo does their own thing. It's fine.
That's true.
But like PlayStation,
but so PlayStation. So...
Well, that's what I thought. But apparently, Sony's strategy is a lot closer to Xbox's strategy than we thought. Like the two key ones that I've seen repeated over the past 24 on Twitter. The two big interviews that have resurfaced over and over again on my timeline are the one about the pre-orders and then the one about Jim Ryan talking about we're not going to really, like, if we make a game for PS5, we want it to work on PS5 and we want people to buy PS5 to play the game, and we're not going to make cross-gen games. and here we are. Like, and it doesn't piss me off, like, as you said, like, I'm one of the biggest supporters of what Microsoft is doing in terms of like cross-gen and accessibility and getting as many people to be able to experience the next gen as possible. So the fact that I can play Miles Morales and Sackboy and Horizon on my PS4 is great, especially considering I didn't fucking get a pre-order. But at the same time, it flies counter to everything Jim Ryan himself has said Sony are about. So
And I think
at
that's
what point?
why...
At what point? No, that's fine.
Okay.
So at what point do you sit back and go, okay, cool? Like our conversations that we've had about PS5 over the past few months have been based on the things that Sony have said, and last night we found out that a lot of those things aren't true. So, like, we look like mugs because we've been talking about the things that they've said, and now it's like, okay, so now they say a bunch of different things in the next few months, and it's like, do we take them at face value on that stuff? They've already said, for example, they've said we're not going to make a Game Pass style subscription service. It's like, cool, but you've said a bunch of stuff before, and it's been wrong. So how much of this do I believe?
It is an intriguing thing. There's no doubt about, and I think again, I'll re-apologize again for trying to butt in there. I didn't mean to.
It's fine. Normally I let you. It's just I wanted to.
Yeah, that's why I think the blow's been little. Is all right for me because I'm just like, when I missed out on a pre-order for the PlayStation 5, I'm just like, oh, I can play Miles Morales on my PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
I can play Horizon 2 on my PlayStation 4 if I still haven't got a PlayStation 5 by then and everything. Yeah. And my whole thing is that I'm going to go into the thing of what you've said before and multiple times about COVID, and I think I'm just curious if COVID has actually changed things up for them a bit. Because I do truly believe they probably did want to have these things on PlayStation 5 only.
Well,
and that's just me. I'm only spitballing there, ladies and gentlemen. I
have
no inside stories whatsoever. PlayStation, Sony might have literally been thinking any person, any company is allowed to change things. And
absolutely,
yes, I agree what you're saying, that at the time and still to this time, because they've never spoken about it until now. They've come across very arrogant, saying, "No, this is not what you were saying. You were saying this, this, and this, and this." And I think, and now they've changed their minds and they're doing things different. Now, if this was always going to be the plan, with or without COVID, then I agree with you wholeheartedly. Bad Sony, you were lying for no reason at all. You should have just been saying, you should have just been saying, yo, the first few games are going to be still playable on PlayStation 4 because we have 110 million units out there. We would be stupid not to do this.
Yeah.
But if COVID has impacted them and told them, okay, we have to rearrange this and it just shows that how maybe true. That obviously shows that the developers, especially Insomniac, that they were able to, how close to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 because of their architecture, they were able to do this.
Well, this is the thing. This is the question I wanted to ask you. It's like, one, yeah, sure, it could have been COVID related for sure, but it's like how complicated is it to make a PS5 game work on a PS4? Like, and you got to think, if Miles Morales and like Horizon is off in the distance, right? So whatever, right? Like they could change things about Horizon in the time frame to make it work. Like I want to focus on Miles Morales because that's coming out in 2 months. If they were making this game to take advantage of the DualSense controller, or to take advantage of the SSD, or to take advantage of the CPU or the GPU or whatever other enhancements from the PS5. Like, how complicated is it to undo that for a PS4 version? Like, they couldn't have just decided to do it. Because it's still going to take work, right?
When it comes to Spider-Man, and I mean both games here, there's the 2018 and the Miles Morales one. You can see they're practically the same game when it comes to how it all runs and everything. For me, going off what I know, probably not that hard because they've been built from the same assets and architecture. So that one probably not that hard. That's why I think Horizon has been confirmed for 2021 instead of 2020, because I still think that was meant to be 2020. I do believe that was meant to be a launch, and because they knew they had to push it, because they're gonna have to readapt that maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but maybe not. I mean, if a developer knows better than me, come out, tell me straight away. I'll easily.
Well,
Because I'm still learning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just be honest here. I'm still learning. When it
there's
comes
the
to this type
bowstring and the haptic feedback, right? And the DualSense triggers like can't do that on the PS4. Like stuff like that, and it's like, okay, cool. Is that just like a switch? Do you just go in the code and do a thing and turn it off? Or is it a gameplay feature that you have to like rearrange and remake? And it's like, that was my question about it, because they didn't say that these games were going to be coming out on the PS4 in the showcase. When you find out later in the blog post,
they didn't want to show that in the showcase, which I kind of understand why.
It was a PS5 showcase. Like it only rubs me the wrong way because of everything else that we just talked about. In terms of like, it only rubs me the wrong way because of everything else we just talked about. In terms of like the misleading stuff, it's like it's part of a pile. If it had been the only thing, you would have been like, well, it was a PS5 showcase. Of course, they were just talking about PS5 games. The pricing of the console is fantastic. The pricing of the games is interesting, and we had a discussion about this on Messenger on text last night. It was like, look, the game going up to $70, right? In America, we kind of figured this was coming, and it sucks. It really does. Like, for people who already like can't necessarily afford gaming, it sucks. It really does. I'm not going to say it doesn't. And the argument that, well, games are expensive to make and they need to be more expensive for the developers to keep getting paid, that money isn't going to the developers. It's just not. Nor is it going to game development. That money is going to CEOs. And if anybody asks for the receipts, I can find you 10 news stories from the past year. But it's the regional pricing that interests me in a way of, what the fuck is this? Like, before we had the UK price, I was looking at the euro price, and thinking, what is this? Because like the PlayStation 5, the console, is $499, right? And it's €499. So it's on a parity. And all of the accessories, again, are on this parity, where it's like, it's $499, it's €499. The DualSense is whatever, however many dollars, however many euros, it's the same number. The games are $70 and €80, which translates to, if you translate the euros into dollars, that's $95 for a game. And that kind of rubbed me up the wrong way a little bit.
Yeah, I could feel the heat coming through the messenger from people last night. I was thinking, do I keep talking here? Because I feel like if I keep pushing, I'm going to get slapped.
I feel like in text message, I feel like you were misunderstanding the point I was trying to make. So I clarified it, but I clarified it maybe a bit more forcefully than I intended to.
I felt it.
But because it's like, they shouldn't be that expensive. Like, they've done it to us as well. Like, our games have gone up now to $69.99.
So 70 quid.
70 quid, which is 15 quid up, because it was like the general recommended retail price for games was $54.99.
Yeah.
And now it's $69.99. So ours has gone up by £15, and if you put £69.99 into the currency converter, you get $90. So we're paying $90, quote unquote, per game. And I mean, I need to acknowledge my privilege here. Like, which I think a lot of people, and again, this goes back to me listening to other podcasts and just grinding my teeth while I'm listening to them. I think a lot of people I've been listening to haven't been doing this. I'm privileged in that gaming isn't as an expensive a hobby for me as it is for a lot of people. I get a lot of games for free. I don't spend my money on them. I spend my time on them by making videos about them, by reviewing them, streaming them, playing them, whatever it is I do. And so, as a hobby, I'm like, it's cheap. It's cheaper for me than it would be for even you, Moody. Like, I've never given you a game code, like, because you don't review games. So every game that you play, you buy or you rent. That's the other part where I'm lucky in that there is a service where we can rent games. Like, and it's not.
Expand Boomerang. I'm just going to say that right now. Expand to Europe. Expand to America.
If I
Canada
didn't
could use
have.
the help.
If I didn't have those things, I would be livid about these price increases because, again, like we've already proven that they're not. The price rises aren't going to help game development. They're going to help shareholders. The and gaming would just be such an unaffordable thing for me to do. If I had to spend £70 per AAA game.
And just think the special editions, what's that going to go up to?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like Miles Morales, which is a quote-unquote smaller standalone experience, like that is £70 for the special edition. Or like 55, I think, 52, 55 for the standard edition. So the standard edition already costs what we're used to paying for anyway. Like for a full game.
The original Spider-Man game, I believe, doesn't it?
For like the original Spider-Man when it first came out, for example. The special edition comes with a PS5 remaster of the original game.
Yeah, that's why that's going back to the original question about the differences and all like that. It's because they were building them together. Basically, they already knew Spider-Man 5. They were already expecting to put Spider-Man 5 as a remaster.
And the reason it rubs me the wrong way with the PlayStation stuff, apart from the fact that PlayStation's a runaway success that can't be stopped by any number of small, tiny errors or mistakes, is that on the one hand, we've spent the last few months talking about Xbox opening up gaming as much as they possibly can while still making money. With All Access, Game Pass, xCloud, the Xbox Series S, like, there's levels. Like, they're doing their utmost to make sure that people can get in and play. Jump in. That's their slogan. And it didn't make sense a few years ago. And now it makes perfect sense. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got PlayStation, who are jacking the prices of their games up, who are not offering any cheaper way to get into gaming in their ecosystem.
Yeah. And
that's why it rubs me up the wrong way. And again, I say that fully acknowledging my privilege of gaming is not an expensive a hobby for me as it is for most of the people who are listening to this.
Yeah.
My priorities and my thoughts on the prices of games are different. I get that. They couldn't not be.
Like, the games were always going to go more expensive. And I completely agree with what you're saying. Like, we've been saying multiple times, Xbox is showing you why to go to them, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And for some weird reason, they're not getting the love,
bad?
which is weird to us. It's bad.
Yeah,
why they aren't getting as much love? They should be getting all the love. You should be kneeling. You should be on your knees saying, "Thank you, Phil Spencer, for making it as plausible for me to possibly get one of these consoles." If that means if I can fork out, if you want to go for the X 400 or 400 quid, they're fantastic. If you can't, or 500 quid, should I say? 500, 450 for us. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know why I forgot the fifth part, but yeah, either way, 450 for us in the UK. That's fantastic. Or even better, if you want to go 250 for an all digital version, that's even more brilliant. With hundreds of games with Game Pass, or you've got the all access thing, which is 29
for the Series X, 21 for the Series S.
Yeah, which is incredible again. They've given you all these options, and for some reason, they're getting mixed reactions.
I don't understand the mixed reactions.
I don't either.
Like, I think there are a lot of fanboys out there who have been hammering Microsoft for certain policies that PlayStation adopted themselves last night, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get, but I've said for years I don't get fanboys. I really don't. Ugh. So, like, I can't even put myself in that mindset. But like I know it's a PlayStation 5 showcase discussion, and here we are discussing Xbox. But I
think it's fair to talk about them because, like I said, they're going against each other.
Yeah, I think there's no wrong answer. Like, I think the approach PlayStation are taking is fine. It's the approach that we're used to. It's the approach that's been an approach for years, decades. That's how console games work. I think Xbox is trying something different. And that vibes with me a lot more as somebody who like wants to seeing gaming be affordable for whoever wants to get into it. Like, because I've been there. I am there. I worry about how I'm going to get a hold of these consoles because I don't have a lot of money. And these companies ain't sending them to me. Like, So I got to worry about how I'm getting hold of these consoles, and so I feel it, and I have sympathy for anyone who's in that position. So when Xbox turn around and say, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. For the next couple of years, you're good. You've got an Xbox already. You're fine."
Yeah, but I'll say one thing: intentional or non-intentional, lying or not lying. Thank you a little bit, PlayStation, because I'm just like, don't have to worry about you. I can play Miles Morales this year. I don't have to fork out 500 quid for a console.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I don't. I would have minded you being a little bit more transparent about it, but thank you either way.
I mean, I guess it's like it would have been nice if you'd have mentioned it, like
Yeah, earlier.
earlier,
There's
like
no
when
doubt
you
about
knew,
that. I
which
agree.
clearly was when you announced the game.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's what prompted such confusion with what Miles Morales was. You remember in June
Yeah.
when Sony couldn't figure out what kind of game this was.
Mhm.
And I wonder if part of that, what prompted it was they were trying to keep the fact that it was also a PS4 game under wraps.
Yeah, and then Insomniac just came out and said it's a standalone game.
Yeah. That's all they needed to
It
say.
ain't hard. It's a standalone game. It may just be a smaller version of the big experience what we gave you with the 2018 game, but it's still a standalone game.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're done. I think we've said everything we need to say about
I
the
think we are,
PlayStation 5
yes.
showcase. There was a Nintendo thing as well. We'll talk about that on the podcast next week.
It was.
Yeah, there was a Nintendo Direct today. A mini partner
Did they
showcase thing.
seriously keep this quiet? Oh, yeah, I'm barely on Twitter anymore.
Yeah, I
I've
was gonna
blocked.
say.
I've destroyed it from my phone. That's a
I think I've
conversation for
come
another
close.
time,
I've come close a couple of times, mostly due to fucking Hogwarts. That's gonna do it. Thanks for joining me, Moody.
It was a pleasure, Jamie.
As usual, even when we disagree, we find a common ground somewhere in the middle.
We do. That's the thing about it. Even if that's the thing, and even if we still didn't disagree, we wouldn't still be like, "I'm hunting you down."
You
And we're gonna...
dead man. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm not going anywhere near you because you're the COVID capital of the Northeast, and I'm really worried about you. I was looking at the numbers. I was looking at the numbers, and I was like, "Oh no, oh god,
we're gonna die. We're dying."
And on that note, we'll see you next time. Bye.